Here we're going to talk about how to evaluate the area of a triangle. And so if you look on your formula sheet, you'll see that area equals 1/2 base times height. And so when you see B, that means base, H, that means height. And when you have these written beside each other, that means multiplication. So to find the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 times the base times the height. Now the base is just going to be one of the legs of the triangle, and the height is going to be perpendicular to that leg. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's say we have a right triangle. If you don't know what a right triangle is, then you should watch Triangles Part 1, that video on the Facebook page. But a right triangle means that this corner is perpendicular. It's 90 degrees. It's like the floor and the wall. It's a 90-degree angle. Let's say this is 12 and this is 8. So here we're going to say that the base is 12. And the height, so again the height has to be perpendicular to the base, and so this is, so the height is 8. So to find the area, you just plug it in to the formula. So the area equals 1/2 times base, which is 12, times height, which is 8. Remember, when we put things in parentheses, that just means multiplication. So you probably have a calculator available, but you really should be able to do this on your own. There will be problems at the beginning of the GED test that you won't be allowed to use a calculator, so you should be able to figure this out without a calculator. So 1/2 times 12. 1/2 of 12 is 6, and then 6 times 8 equals 48. So there's going to be units associated with each. So this might be 12 meters, 8 meters. So when you get to your answer, we're multiplying meters times meters, so it's going to be meters squared. Anytime you do area, regardless of the shape, if it's a triangle, a square, rectangle, circle, the units for the area are always going to be in square units with a 2 in the exponent. That means squared, if you remember that from the exponent video. So that's a key thing to look for, and make sure you have the units right. The area answer always has to be something squared. It might be inches squared, yards squared, whatever, but it will always be squared. So this is pretty straightforward when you have a right triangle. You don't care what the length of this is. All you're doing is taking the base times the height times 1/2, and that's the area of the triangle. Now, let's say you don't have a right triangle. You have something that looks more like this. And the base is, we'll say, 32 inches. Now, there is no perpendicular leg from the base. So what you'll see is a dotted line. And if they draw this, they will draw a dotted line. So when you are looking at a triangle and you see the dotted line, that means that's the height. And so let's say that the height here is 10 inches. So again, we don't care what the length of the two sides are. All we care about is the base and the height. So we solve it the same way. 1/2 times the base is 32, the height is 10. Half of 32 is 16 times 10 equals 160 inches squared. Again, remember, it's squared units. The other type of triangle, if you remember from the Triangles Part 1 video, is an obtuse triangle. So you might see something that looks like this. That's an obtuse triangle. Let's say this is 16 yards. The way that they might draw the height, again, is with a dotted line. They'll extend the base out with a dotted line and draw the height over here, and let's say it's 5 yards. So here is the height, because you can't just don't pick a side and call that the height. It has to be perpendicular to the base. So in order for it to be perpendicular to this corner, you have to draw this dotted line. But you solve it the same way. 1/2 times base, 16, times height, 5. 1/2 of 16 is 8, so we have 8 times 5, which is 40 yards squared. So that would be the answer to that question. Now, realistically, the question is probably not going to be as straightforward as this, where they give you the base and the height and ask you to find the area. It might be something where you have to know a little bit of algebra. So if you don't know how to solve basic algebra, you need to watch the video on the Facebook page. But they might tell you the area is 108 inches squared, and the base is, we'll say, 12 inches. And the problem they'll ask you is, what is the height? So if you have a triangle, they're telling you the area is this, base is that, what is the height? All you do, plug the numbers into the formula. So they're telling you area is 108 equals, area equals 1/2. They're telling you the base is 12 inches. And they're asking you what the height is. So you have 108 equals 1/2 times 12 times h. So this is an algebra problem which you should be able to solve. So I'll do it for you here. 108, we can do this multiplication. Half of 12 is 6. So 6 times h. We want to get h by itself, so we're going to divide each side by 6. Again, you should be able to do this on your own. 108 divided by 6. If you don't know how to do that, you need to watch the video, the very, very first videos on the Facebook page way at the bottom. So 108 divided by 6 is going to be 18. 6 and 6 cancel. So the height is 18 inches. And that's how you would solve that. It's the same formula. You just plug in the numbers that you know and you solve for the ones that you don't know.